I'm gonna try to get everything set up correctly here in a second. So, create a dashboard. Da, 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 da.
Here we go.
I should be live at this moment, but I want to see if I can actually get this to work too. Alright. Oh, that's right. I have to use only supports Chrome and Firefox. Do I have Google Chrome on here? I do. That's right. I have to use Google Chrome for this fucker to work.
Which one is that?
The stream together.
It's only on Google.
It only works on Google Chrome and Firefox. Hopefully I'm logged into here. I don't have to log in again. Nope, I gotta log in. Alright, let's log in. Alright, well, that's all saved. Where's my phone at? Let's get in my authenticator app.
Universe not even guys.
Nope, not you. It needs Authy. Not Authy. I have two authenticator apps because they don't use the same one. Okay. Let me just see here. I wonder if I actually let me use it now. No, it still won't let me use the damn thing. Alright.
It's just don't like me.
It's just, yeah, it does not like me. It does not like me, Sam I am. It does not like me as I am. Ooh, Tormented Souls is free? I might actually pick that up. Hell yeah, man. Tormented Souls? That's a good game I wanted to get, but I never wanted to buy it. That's coming in October. It's October. It's a good time to pick up that game. It's like a Resident Evil-ish game. Alright. Let's see if Google Chrome actually fixes it. This shit. Nope. Okay. Okay. Let's open up my Creator Dashboard. Alright, let's try this again. Let's share chat. Alright, now let's see. How do I... Let's see.
Because I have here, I have each.
I think I gotta invite guests. I gotta invite you in, right?
You stop it. You want me to stop it?
I don't think you have to stop it. I think I just gotta invite you in. Let's see. Include my camera. Send out camera.
Camera.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, what the fuck was that about? I'm not sure how the fuck. Okay, manage. Settings. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna try to invite. I go to look for your name and it gives me fucking Pirate Software. Fuck Pirate Software. He's an asshole. That's like the one thing everyone online can agree on right now. Pirate Software is an asshole. You don't. Oh, dude, no, he's a fucking. He is now known. Well, he pretty much just completely tried to fuck over somebody else who just wanted to start an initiative that would make gamers make companies actually have to make sure that their games are still playable even after they stop providing services for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fuck this shit. This shit sucks ass. Okay, we're just gonna do it normal. That's too much of a fucking headache.
Okay.
They need to make that shit work better. That shit should just be easy. Click, 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 done. Alright, well.
It probably is. Let me try.
Yeah, you try to invite me.
Because I used it once already. I don't really have to try this again.
Let me get to my channel. Let me go to my channel real quick. Because I'll probably hop on my channel. Let my ad breaks play anyway, so they can get that out of the way real quick to roll my ads. Oh shit, I gotta change my fucking topic. It's not Sweet Home. This is the weirdest version of Sweet Home I've ever seen. Got home guys start up.
Wow, I'm going to see. Okay. I'm gonna do something.
One second. Alright. One second. Let me just up this. Okay. I got all that done. Alright, feel free to try anytime you want.
Right, it's a trivia.
Okay, let me try. We gotta go to my creator chat. Creator dashboard. I don't see where it's at.
In Discord.
Oh, in Discord. Discord.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just saying straight to the link for it. Should.
Oh. Are you fucking kidding me?
What happened?
Well, even it opened automatically in the better of browsers, and so let me try again. Copy text, paste, and go. Join session. All right. Ah!
Oh wow, that's all. You have to mute it.
I did.
Mute it and mute it.
Okay. Okay, so let me see.
There you are.
Now, how is this working on my actual stream, though?
It should give you.
Okay, so since we got shared... Okay, so the shared chat's up. Okay, so our shared chat is up. Okay, so I can see you on my... Okay, so I'll see anyone who messages you on mine. That works well.
Yeah.
Okay. And then pretty much it's just going to be... Okay, I think this is fine, because you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let me check volume.
No, the thing about it is that I'm using YouTube, this I'm using it through the together.
All right, good.
So everything was she must. It's just that I'm not using.
I just want to make sure that everything's working fine.
See, just use the sticker shoot together. We'll see this board properly without a problem.
Yeah, I think that works well. All right, okay, we're good. I just have to remember this. Open this up in freaking Google Chrome every time. So, all right. Well, we're good to go. We got everything started. So, Pirate, how have things been going for you? We finally got things up and running, right?
What can I say? It has been a pretty hectic past 2 weeks. Things have not done. Just like imagination and it's possible. I have literally tried to. I have to tell myself I have to get, but then I have so many videos that I want to make it see. And I know my laptop can only handle doing so much at once. So I really try not to. Excuse me. Also do too much, and then also for some reason I have a site that used to be. Oh, it was only on one nostril, and then all of a sudden, it just went out the both. I just fixed it on me. I was like, at least I can breathe through one of my lunch. I said, oh, You think you can breathe through one of your nostrils? Oh, let's change that, shall we? Right at that moment, it's the just clogged the floor up really seriously. I can't actually sit and breathe through my because I suffocate. I have to breathe through my mouth because
Dude, I hate when that happens. I hate breathing problems.
how have things been on your side?
I mean, let's see. It's been pretty rough actually. Let's see. My mother-in-law ended up going to the hospital. I got home,
Oh,
just for my son to ride up and tell me there was an ambulance, and then I had to answer medical questions in Japanese. And let me tell you something, man. You never want to have to answer medical questions in a language you don't speak fluently. All right, that's not fun.
mm,
That's not fun.
oh,
Uh,
I doubt that.
then my wife arrived, and then she's had a cold for I think like 3 to 4 weeks, and I keep trying to get her to go to the doctors because if anyone of us had that, she'd make us go, but she refuses to go.
It's
Yeah,
always the one who shoots at everybody else, but uses them.
yeah, it's driving me insane because I keep telling her just take a day off, or just go, go rest because like she coughs all night and I kept, hopefully she'll go today. But yeah, all right, yeah, things been going pretty good though. I mean, other than work, I'm looking forward to next year when I don't have to work in the mornings anymore. But it's
Oh
really,
yeah, but
dude, it's funny. Like I told my manager, I gave them notice in May so that they would have 9 months to find a replacement, which I think is more than fair. Nine
mm-hmm.
months is a long time, and my boss hasn't really been looking for anybody, and instead is like just like trying to find a way to get me to stay, and I'm I've already explained to my boss, I mean to my manager that I wouldn't be reliable, and I don't want to put that, I don't want to sign a contract if I can't fulfill it, right? Like because my mother-in-law's
Oh yeah.
she's getting really old, and like I said, I got home at 7 p.m. for an ambulance to be at her house, which meant there was just her and my two kids, and it's a big issue.
That's not good.
Yeah, so I have to be home now, and I mean on top of that, like Asian cultures have a really bad habit of pretending they're super safe, right? Like everyone thinks Japan is crazy safe, but we get emails regularly of just like really strange people. There's a guy who came to my house asking to play with my 6-year-old son. The guy's like in his 20s, and
What?
yeah, no, I thought, and the scariest thing is he brought these two other kids with him. I thought maybe he was their older brother at first, but they're Chinese, he's Japanese, and no, they're not related. And so like he literally kidnapped these kids, and nobody seemed to give a shit but me. I'm just like, he kidnapped those kids. The fuck is going on here? Well, that's good. Um, so like I mean, like I'm dealing with like, and then like I had another one of the students I know at my part time job. Like she almost got kidnapped 3 days ago. Like the guy grabbed her arm and she just yelled at him though. So and she
Oh,
like, which was good because Japanese people aren't used to that. So no, shit's getting pretty like shit's not as safe as people think it is, and I think at least 3 murders have happened the last year where I work, not at my company but in that area. Like,
mm-hmm.
so I'm just like I need to be home, So trying to explain to my company, my manager agrees, but like my boss is just like trying to find a way to get me to stay, and it's like, dude, I'm not signing a contract. I won't be reliable, man. That's the last thing you want is somebody who cannot agree to be there when he needs to be there.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Something that happened, and then they're like, "Yo, we need to be like, I can't be."
yeah, I would be calling in just second, like last minute, and I just told my manager because she just dealt with that with the person. So I had quit before. The person that replaced me pretty much did that. He just called in, oh, I have a headache, oh, I have a stomach ache all the time. So they would call me to come sub, right? I think I subbed almost
Mhm.
2 weeks each year, which is a lot to actually sub. I mean, 2 weeks is a lot. Ooh, that's nice. So, oh, damn, wrong piece. I was really excited, but then it's the wrong piece. So, a second. So yeah, like I told her, I don't want to do that to her again, and I couldn't really be reliable. So I'm looking forward to not having to get. But to be perfectly honest, I also don't like getting up at 7:30 in the morning. Being able to focus my work in the evenings and the afternoons is better. You know, then I get my mornings free to do my to start streaming again like I wanted to do. And I have my, then I have my own school I run, right? Because I do run my own school. That's why I only work part-time. So, yeah. Alright, so I figured, let's start with Genshin, man. Oh, Genshin, my Genshin.
Lovely Genshin.
For those who are just tuning in, this is our first ever podcast, and we're going to be focusing on mostly gacha games. I would like to bring in some like other games, like anything like I discover that I really like, and I'm pretty sure Pirate you'll do the same thing. Any games you like, we can discuss. So it's not just going to be limited to gacha games. We are going to try to avoid any form of personal drama. So I personally don't want to be picking fights with content creators, even though I disagree with most of them. But I am going to be talking about controversy that actually exists in games. It's in the games themselves. So I do think in-game controversy, such as the level 100 crap in Genshin, is fair play. Speaking of that, so what do you think of the level 100 situation in Genshin?
Honestly, it doesn't really affect me that bad because I only have one character that's a 6. So technically, I thought I was never really going to. If honestly, no. If I had to put it correctly, they could have brought up level 100 and I would have given shit. Because I have no 5-star character that was 6. So it would have never even applied to. The only reason why, in a sense, I actually bought it is because of the 1C6 character, 5-star character that I have. And that's it.
I almost asked you which character you have at C6, and then I remembered.
If you, of all people,
which one you got C6 again? I actually almost forgot. I was like, I'm thinking, you know what? Knowing him, it's probably Chi-Chi. I forgot it. I was like, oh yeah, that's, wait, I should know this one.
You should know this one.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah.
Most people, I could honestly say the level 100 is going to pass a whole lot of people by, and they're not gonna care because not everybody has a C6 5-star.
I mean, for me,
it's really not gonna affect them.
For me, the level 100, like, it just feels like the weirdest decision they could have made because it doesn't actually really impact the game that much. I mean, it doesn't. But it looks like it impacts the game more than it actually does. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't actually, between level 90 and level 100, there's not that much of a difference. The only characters that are really gonna, most of the characters that would actually even benefit from it, Mavuika would benefit from it because his reactions will. But Mavuika, if you have Mavuika and Sitlali, they don't even need it. They're already killing everything in like one shot, so you don't even need that. It's overkill. Now for Nahida, yeah, I could see it being good for Nahida, but I mean, it's just for me. I just look at it, I'm like, why would you do this? It's not going to impact the game, but it makes it look more pay to win. And people already argued, and I'm gonna be honest. I've never felt, to be honest, Genshin was pay to win. I think a lot of people confuse pay to win and gacha games in general, right? Like, a pay to win game is when you have to pay the game just to beat the game, right? And let's be fair, Genshin is a lot more fun when you pay. All right, it is. It's if anyone who acts like it's not, they're full of crap. But you don't need to pay to win the game because the game itself is beatable. Now that doesn't mean all content is beatable, right? In Genshin, you have the simulated universe, and that's sterile. You have the Abyss, and then of course you have the stupid theater one, which is just annoying altogether. But just because you technically need high units to do that, realistically, people, you can calculate the rewards versus the cost. It's not worth it. It's kind of like, for me, that's like an extra benefit for people who pay to play the game, right? And I'm gonna be honest, I do think if you pay money to the game, you should get a benefit from it. You know, you're paying money, you're supporting the game. You know, why not? Why should you not get something better from it, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's not like, but again, as long as the game can be played and beaten without spending a dime, I think it's fine. You know, but this level 100,
Because technically, yeah, you will go through without even any of the normal people would go through without ever having to see it happening. And for them, it's just the game still runs as normal for them.
I mean, to be fair, I think people have become so spoiled. Oops, I picked the wrong team. People become so spoiled on current gotcha games and mobile games because I mean, let's be fair. There was no gotcha game back in the past. These were just called mobile games, right? And you know, people have been spoiled at what mobile games used to be like. Because if you go back, let's go back 15 years ago, right? You had Candy Crush. Candy Crush is a big one. I mean, I think everybody played Candy Crush.
Candy Crush is big.
You know, everybody played Candy Crush, right? And but the thing about Candy Crush, right? The thing about Candy Crush is that you got to a certain point in Candy Crush where you could not beat the game without spending money. And that is is where you just like you got
that's totally around something.
Right? And you know that you had that game, you had all of the old Final Fantasy games. There's a lot of games where if you just take a look at them, you're just like, wow, this is really you know, and you kind of see that problem, and that's a major problem, especially with turn-based RPG games, right? Because Genshin, let's be fair, Genshin is the first open world mobile game ever. You know, most mobile games were just like the cheapest version possible of a turn-based RPG, or just, and my personal, the ones I hate the most, AFK RPGs. I freaking hate AFK RPGs, man. Those, it's like, why are you even playing the game? Like, it's one thing to give you the ability to auto-clear something. It's another thing if that's the stupid game, you know? If the game is, you just sit here and watch and screen go, pfft. I mean, what's the point of playing the game? You know, you're not even playing. And so, like, for me, like, I've always hated the auto ones, right? I always hated the auto ones. I thought those were stupid. So, I mean, if people, I really don't think it's fair to ever, when people call Genshin pay to win, because I have seen people call it that way, I think that's stupid. One of the dumbest things ever to call a game nowadays. Because those games do exist, and we do need to call those games out for when they exist. PvP games are 100%. You know, those are freaking pay to win. Like,
those are pay to win.
Yeah.
Games are basically basically you have. Because what game is this? This game hasn't been going on for so freaking long. I'm trying to remember the one that has like the different armies fighting in the different areas. It used to be balanced in a sense where normal ones could actually build it, but then when they introduced like new gear that you have to pay for, and that gear just in a sense just roots everybody's. And I'm just like, wow.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, you know, and to be fair, I mean, like, okay, you know, people call Genshin greedy. Okay, I have issues with Genshin Impact. I'm gonna be completely clear about that, right? I mean, I do think Genshin Impact has done a great job recently with, except for the level 100. Okay, we got like, but to be fair, again, level 100 I think more negatively impacts them than it does the players. Like, it really does. It more negatively impacts the creators of Genshin Impact than it does the actual players of Genshin Impact, which is really funny when you think about it, you know? But you know, when you take that away, let's take away like the level 100, we minus that. Realistically, in the last, you know, 2 years since the Mavuika anniversary, the game really got better. Characters got better. Things look better. It really feels more... I'm going to be perfectly honest, and people may disagree with me on this. It does feel more like it's going down the path of Impact 3rd, where it was just honestly awful. And they finally got rid of this, funny enough, the same guy. And now you got a game that is actually playable. You know? Like Genshin
The ironic
Impact.
thing is that it's the same guy.
Yeah, it's the same guy. Yeah.
That's the ironic thing.
Well,
It's the same guy that screwed up compared to
You know-
him. It's the same one that was running Genshin.
you know when
How do you not see this man run a game into the ground?
well, he was a CEO. Like
Kick
he
him
was
out of it.
he was one of the main guys
Oh,
behind
I-
it, though, right? So like, what are they gonna say to
I
him?
still the goodness though. But you can see this man has run one in, and then he's going to be given another one to then run into the ground again.
I mean, yeah, like I think everybody sees it, but like at the same time, when he's your boss, what do you say, right? That's the problem, right? I mean, like, and even he was even above Dawe, which everyone knows Dawe's like he's the boss, man. He's the shit. Like every
But
time
there's
he
a guy who's
appears,
actually ahead of
he is actually in tune with what the games are like. And you know what? I really love getting to see him at every single games stream now. I love, you know, when he shows up, it just feels so great to see the guy. You're like, yeah, I like this guy. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I have more faith in Genshin Impact now that they've kind of rechanged the director. And if you look at, I mean, there's a lot of things like we were talking about before, right? If we take a look at like a lot of aspects of the game, like first of all, if we take a look at the way the story has gone, right? The story since Mavuika's stage has really been more focused on completing the fucking story. You know, we're not sitting there reading stupid ass things again. We're actually going through the story, and it feels like we're actually making progress, which I like, because the big issue with Genshin for the longest time is it never felt like we were making progress. It's like, okay, well, yeah, where's my progress at? Like when when am I going to see something important happen? Like I'm seeing the same things over and over again. I mean, I want to see.
Sorry about it, but if I remember, I think this is when we were in when they just gave us go back what's the date, because everybody knows once Daisy shows up, shit's about to go.
Yeah.
He shows up. We went on this wild quest for social treat. And after he just disappears again, I'm like, what? This is us, you're just going to be teasing people though.
Well, and I mean, if you take a look at Impact Third, it kind of followed the same thing, right? When you look at the time where the other guy was in charge, the story moved really slowly. Like, it takes up to chapter 10 to even get to the point where you have, like, the things actually go on, right? And if you take a look at, okay, like I said, you know, with, like I said before, like, I really do feel like the Sumeru story is a really good story, right? I do think it's a good story. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I think a lot of people kind of exaggerate how bad it is because, you know, and this is kind of an issue I've seen, right? One person bitches and then everybody, you know, oh yeah, that's right. And nobody actually gets an opinion of their own. Like that's an issue with the internet I've noticed is most people don't have an opinion anymore. They just listen to somebody else. And dude, I have so many friends. Hell, my kid does it. Who come in, is like, oh well, I saw this happening, and I'm like, wait, what? And it's just one idiot said something, and it's like, you know, there's nothing verified here. This is just one person, and everyone's just jumping on board, you know. And with Sumeru, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Sumeru does have a slow burn, but it's not that slow. People make it like it's, you know, 48 hours of nothing, and you're like, really? I mean, like, you really think it's not that bad? You can burn through it in about 2 or 3 hours. That's not that long. Like, if you think about it, right?
I feel like it just
Even yes, but the question comes down to in the end: is it worth the reward? Now, if it was 2 or 3 hours, yeah, if it was 2 or 3 hours, and like in the end you were like, you know, it was like Inazuma. Oh yeah. I'm trying to be like, dude, fuck up this. What is this shit? You know. Sorry, but yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it's nearly that bad. I think it rewards you very well. It's very emotional, and
no, the thing about it is when you're dealing with it, like if you look at it from the part one that they did, part one left you feeling unsatisfied. And it did satisfy you with part two. Part two tends to put a little bit more, how to put it, not necessarily give it a little bit more substance that you're like, okay, this now kind of makes sense.
The only thing though for me is that they did the stupid bait.
Like,
They did the stupid bait and switch
just,
with Raiden, which I hated. Like they knew what they were doing when they made it look like it was Raiden May, right? And then it's like, oh nope, it's not. It's Raiden A. I'm like, oh fuck off. Like, I mean, for me, I'll never forgive them because they took one of the best characters in Impact Third and completely butchered the character. You know?
yeah, she kind of dumped it. It's like, ooh.
Yeah, and you, the problem is you get to a point in the game, right? You get to a point where you can't, once you've destroyed a character, it's really, really difficult to fix that destruction, right? It's like you've destroyed this character.
Character was destroyed on release.
Yeah, like how am I?
She was destroyed.
Yeah, it's like how am I supposed to like this character? Like you've destroyed her. I don't actually care about this character now. Like and that always pissed me off because I loved. That's one of my favorite characters in the story. I mean, like one of the first things that I saw before starting to play on Kai Impact Third that really got me into the game was the scene between her and May, where her and Kiana, where they're fighting. I'm like, dude, this is
good.
What the hell's going on here, right? I had no idea what the hell's going on. And then I go and I play the game and I'm like, oh, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, now I understand. So like, I'm excited. I'm like, oh my god, they're bringing Raiden into the game. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be so awesome. Everyone's gonna love this character because I mean, come on, like who doesn't like Raiden? And then they butchered her.
Exactly.
And for me, I will never forgive that crime. That was a crime. I love that girl, and it's like so sad. I mean, so, but I mean, what the thing is I'm making right though is Sumeru and Fontaine were good, but they still never actually moved us into the direction of the main storyline. They still were side stories, if you think about it, right? We don't gain. They built the world of Sumeru, right, and the world of Fontaine, but they never ever gave us any closer to actually fulfilling the main storyline. Think about that, right? We never got any closer to the main storyline being finished. We still were in the exact same area. If you think about it, like if we play the game, and you go about the game, by the time you get to Fontaine and finish Fontaine, you are still at the exact same spot in the main storyline that you were in the very beginning of the game. We've come no closer to anything. We have no idea what's going on. We have no idea why she's pissed at us. Nothing has been solved, right? We're still the same questions. At least I still had the same questions. Sorry. From the beginning of the game that I did at this point. Now, if you take a look at Natlin, though, when we get to Natlin, all of a sudden, we're getting a lot more questions answered. Now, I will say the end of Fontaine did start to answer questions. But again, that's where we have the shift in the lead, right? Because in the end of Fontaine, that's when we were really dealing with Arcolino, right? And that's when we start to get introduced to the those who are the Fatui who are not just this evil Fatui, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, right, we start to see actual connections to what's really going on. So I mean, I do think like that is where we start to do really well and see what we got there, right? But I do think that until we get to Fontaine, holy crap! You lose all three. That's okay. I can lose those three. But I do think that until we get to Fontaine, I mean, until we get to that point, right? There is no progress, really. There really is no progress. We're sitting there, still the same area we were before, and then we start to get it. Natlin, have you completed the Natlin storyline yet? So, you know, all of a sudden we get a lot of answers. Like a ton of questions are being answered all of a sudden. Like what's going on with this situation? What's going on with that situation? Like all of a sudden, we know what's going on in Natlan. It's like it's there. It's like okay, well, we now know that she's been fighting. You know they're actually trying to fight the Night Kingdom, and that our sister has been actually taking place in the night, fighting the Night Kingdom, and that you know we're starting to realize some things that we didn't know before, right? And that there are Fatui that have been trying to fight the Night Kingdom as well. Like, like this is something that they've been trying to fight against for the good of people. I mean, and you get there and you're like, oh, this is actually really good. I'm happy to see this. So I just feel like recently, right, we've gotten much closer to actually fulfilling the story, which I would rather complete the story and then just have no story after, right? Just have them at that point in time just release side stories and whatnot. Do all the side stories, I don't care at that point. But finish the main story and then release all the side stories for people who want to do the little side story bullshit. So I do feel it's gotten better since then. Oh gosh.
Okay, that's understandable. That's fine. That's a perfectly normal thing to happen. I would say, well, story-wise, Signification, it has, I think, what should it make sense is that the story, when it gets buried, the main story itself did not advance as it should in Sumeru. I think all the stuff that you did in Sumeru, the main story itself did not advance. Yeah, the whole patch was just like a whole side yeah. Which was a whole map on itself. It had nothing to do with the main story. Right? And then it's just like how do you get back in after that?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like you have taken out an entire area that has nothing to do with the main story. Even if you go there, nothing with the main story. And you've spent so much time in this area, it's like, come on. What is happening? And then when you come into that one for this story after that, and you see that the piece of story then begins to pick up and you realize that it's not only picking up the track. It seems to me that they tried not really to speed on, but really tried to they realized that it's like they forgot to put in some main story quest in between the other patches. So they just started to push out that main story to go out as fast as possible. To try to catch up to where they wanted it to be at the society. Are you catching up the story because you want the story to progress, or is it that you're now pushing the story in order to catch up to the areas where you want to send the players to then have them go for characters? Which is why once we hit that land, you realize that there was that whole debacle with the land exploration. And then you had all the things that were with a bike and everything. But it's like, I love her. Here's the bike. I'm happy with it. I don't care. But I know some people would say that, why is it that she didn't have a bike? She had a bike. Then they come riding up like and whatnot. Even though they try to explain it with in-game itself, sometimes the plot fillers that they do for the plot holes in the game itself sometimes does not make sense itself. So for me, I got back at the get you to not right. I really had to speed run the ending of Napla. Was it the ending of Napla or just the one? No, the quest in Mondstadt, the Static Guiltana. Just speed through it just to get to Napla. The North guy, sorry. And I'm going to see where Napla, because so far, I think what I have to do, I have to give the story a chance and actually sit that because I realize what I'm doing now. I'm just speed running through it. I'm not reading anything to actually get the taste of the more of the story, exactly what's truly happening. I'm just running through, just passing through all the top just to get to the next thing. And I realized is that I'm becoming what I always said that people should not be, which is basically just speedrunners of story. If it is you don't understand the really story, to you, you will always be left out. Something is always missing. And you won't have that sense of attachment, right, to the game story-wise if you don't understand the story behind. But say yes, some people play a game not just of the story. But the thing about it is, if you are playing this game, the game itself has a story to sort of you going to be doing the story. Because part of the story is to advance to the next areas, the next stage of the game altogether. So you still have to advance straight through. So you still have to have that sense of what is the shape of everything there towards it through. And you see that's why they have like some size things and they left out some places. They have some things they're gonna have to do CG. So it's but my final thoughts of that one, the story is getting somewhere. The art, I would agree it did take the Hawkeye back to the road. It says there was that special for and then after they just started picking one going. I'm hoping good that they can pick up and that the show can that the not even the show, but the main story quest carries us further into the depths of the land. And we get to see exactly what caused the heavenly principles to destroy power. What caused what the family do to cause itself to be the target of the heavenly deliberate. What are the things in play that can cause something like that to happen again? Even though they show that they themselves been ones making blocks and whatnot. But then you realize that just to make it become some, my thing is just like, well, if you just have to be around and collect all 6.
I mean, when it comes, when it comes to the story in Genshin, right? There's an ongoing joke, right? That like we got a new story quest every year, right? It's like,
yeah.
So I mean, I don't blame people for like
Yeah,
at this point not being interested. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, like we got to also remember that Impact Third, he only had control of it for a couple, like for about a year or two. Genshin, he was in control for like 4 years. So it was like 4 years of just the same bullshit over and over again.
That's terrible.
As for the whole thing with Mavuik and the bike, okay? I remember seeing that crap. And all I got to say to these people is that, have you ever seen a nation that runs around with gliders? It's a fantasy game. You don't need logic in fantasy. Fantasy is fantasy. And I'm going to be honest. I really hate when people try to put logic into a fantasy game. It's like, they're literally doing magic. Like, come on. Do you not watch all what's going on with the... Like, it's... Dragons don't exist. You don't have to have logic. For me, it's like, you don't need logic in a fantasy game. It's fantasy. I mean, it's what it's... As long as it's in the world when you come into the world. And people got to remember, in Natlan, right? It's in the world when you go into the world. You don't go into Natlan and it's in the Dark Ages and all of a sudden, it's advanced overnight. No, it's you go there and it is how it is when you arrive. And I do think people who are trying to find logic in it are just doing a disservice in general, because you're trying to find logic in a fantasy game. That doesn't exist in fantasy games.
And that's kind of like justified why these French people just left me because they have elevators, they have water taxis, they have everything completely different from everybody else on the team.
Yeah, but
why would you not say, oh, how did you just get all of this just like that?
Well, and if you look at Fontaine though, like Fontaine, they breathe underwater. How the hell do you breathe underwater in
because they're not
Fontaine, right?
human.
Like,
Because they're not human.
yeah, but I'm like, if you think that, like, if a person thinks that, having a motorcycle is more realistic than breathing underwater, you know, I then have to, like, it just feels like, okay, so here's an issue with Genshin, right? With the Genshin community, not Genshin the game. Genshin players are usually, and again, this isn't to all players, right? I'm not like saying all players are like this. No, right? Now, obviously, it depends on the player, right? But this is a problem, a constant problem we've seen in the player base itself. They're either, they're either 100% going to support Genshin to the grave, even when Genshin does something really bad, like 3 Wishes, or they're going to complain about every little thing, right? Like, Mavuika's skin tone. Oh my goodness, why is she so white? I'm like, dude, it's Asia, man. Like, why do you care?
Yeah,
like,
I never subscribed. Well, I was like, I was when I was just like, this is what you people are complaining about.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
is
like,
what you-
so for me, I feel people are going to complain just to complain. And I think that if you complain just to complain, then, you know, your opinion's invalid at that point, because you're not actually, you know, finding a reason to complain. You're just wanting to be the person saying, well, this doesn't make sense, so I don't like it. And so, like, with the freaking bike, who cares? It's a fantasy game. And to be perfectly
It's a nice
honest,
bike.
it's awesome. I love that bike. I see Sixter for the bike. That's literally why I see Sixter, so I could ride that goddamn bicycle anywhere I wanted to go. I mean, like, it's... Let me ask you, I mean, like, okay, let's do a little quick comparison, right? Genshin versus Wuthering Waves Exploration, right? Without that freaking bike, Exploration sucks. And Wuthering Waves, you don't need that bike, because Wuthering Waves has the gliding ability, which allows you to get from point A to point B much faster now. You know,
Yes.
and that's the issue, right? When I go back into Genshin from Wuthering Waves, I'm just like, man, I miss my gliding. Like, this takes so long to explore. Mavuika makes that so much more manageable. Like, and that bike makes it manageable. And like, I mean, again, if it was you go to Natlin and they're in the Dark Ages, and then you wake up and now they have all this stuff for no reason, yeah, that would make sense. But they also explain it. I mean, they do explain Natlin's technology. You know, Mavuika's sister's a genius, and she invented all of it after her sister's sacrifice, kind of as a form to prepare for her sister's coming back. Like, everything in Natlin is due to Mavuika's sister. It is explained. It's just not, you know, we just don't live through it. And again, I mean, like, I feel like it's just, again, another one of those situations where it's like, I want to complain so that I can complain and pretend like this sucks, because that's what's hip now, you know? Story mode? Yeah, story mode, fair point, story mode. I mean, I agree. They took so long in the story that if you're not interested, that's fine. But when you want logic in a fantasy game, because I see the same thing happen in Final Fantasy 14, where it's like, something happens and they want a logical reason for it. It's like, why the hell do you care? It's a game. We play a game to escape logic. If you want logic, go to work. Like, you know? Like, work, you have to have logic. In a game, you don't. Like, I'm playing Star Rail right now, right, man? I don't want to have logic behind Castor summoning out a goddamn dragon. I just want to summon a goddamn dragon. That's just fun.
Space.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and so people who are looking for logic, for people who are looking at logic in games, just don't understand the point of a game. That's like reading a fantasy book and being like, okay, Lord of the Rings, right? And being like, well, you know, it doesn't make sense that the elves live so long. I've got to read the 50 other books J.R.R. Tolkien wrote so that I have logic behind this. Because unless you read the other 50 books he wrote, you don't know why the elves live so long. You know? You don't know the history of the elves. You don't know what's up with them. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit never explain why the elves live so long. You have to read the Silmarillion, which is... I'm not going to do that, you know? No, thank you. So I mean, I don't feel like this is even a Genshin problem. I think this is a problem in general with people who just okay. Because like, think back. You and I, we both grew up playing Mario and Nintendo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's looking for
That's
logic.
true.
No one's looking for logic when they play Mario. We're not like, you know, what's the logic behind a fat plumber going up and down pipes and jumping over a giant lizard? No one, we never, no one's ever done that before. That this, I just think, okay, this is actually a good example. It's gonna be kind of a tangent. It kind of just speaks to the how entitled players have become. Because I do agree that
Mhm.
players have become entitled. I do think that term is used way too often when players have a legit complaint about something, right? Like, if a company just completely screws over their player base, I don't think it's entitlement at that point. I think they have a legit complaint. But there is also truth to the entitlement behavior where players, everything has to be written perfectly and make perfect logical sense. And for me, I wouldn't actually enjoy that in a game if I'm going to be honest. I would not enjoy a game where everything has to make logical sense. I would be done with that game because it's too much thinking. You know. So yeah, I do feel if you're complaining about logic in a fantasy game, you as a player, not you as you pirate, I think that you need to kind of restudy what a game is about because no video game has logic, and this includes your realistic games like Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty. Do you realize how not realistic Call of Duty is? If you've, I will say this, right? If you've ever been in the military, like I was in the military when I was younger, right? Call of Duty is not what the military is. If Call of Duty, and I want to use Call of Duty because people might think it's like most realistic, right? But if you if Call of Duty played like the real military plays, right? That would be the most boring game ever. That game would not be fun. That game would be boring as hell. Because we're talking about like the amount of work it takes to do that stuff and not die is
Mhm.
not fun. It's so I do think it's even if you take a look at like Call of Duty, right? That game is so fantasy, it's not even funny. That game is fantasy.
Oh, really went from being somewhere needs to be to then become such a see the same. That's
I,
really cool.
like I'm not gonna like I don't I'm not getting to get into Call of Duty too much. I'm just gonna say because it gets a lot of shit as it is. I'm just gonna say even when you take a look at them, I just used it because it's like the most realistic, right? And even that, it is so fake, it's not even funny. No game is real. No game is actually realistic. They're all freaking illogical games when you look at what it should be like in real life. All right. Enough about Genshin. What's your favorite gacha game out there so far? As if I don't know. So do you want to talk about Weathering Waves, or you want to go into Honkai Star Rail next? What do you want to go into?
Oh, either one.
Are you
Damn well, I'm
trying to
in
get
the
back
very
here?
right.
Oh, that son of a bitch. All right, so let's go to Weathering Waves first, and then we'll finish in Star Rail.
Yep.
So which of the new characters you plan to go for? Because we know you can only go for one. Which one are you gonna go for? The girl, the hunter, or the samurai?
Galbrina. I'm going for Galbrina.
That's the huntress, right?
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I am straight up going for the. I'm going for my swordsman, man. That guy looks so cool. It looks like the general on steroids, right? Like the guy just got like buffed. I'm right next to Pity, but I still got to win the 50-50. But I'm right there, so I was originally, like I said before, gonna go for a dupe of Uno, but I decided not to because I felt like, you know, I got a lot coming in these next 2 days. We got 2 Alicias coming, right? And then then we have those 2 coming. I'm just like, yeah, it's too much. I can't pay for everything, so I have to be more picky this time. That's one thing I hate about gacha games, man. they make it hard to pick sometimes. You're like, ugh, what do I pick? I hate when gacha games all release hype releases at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's a pain in the ass. I can't budget myself. It's too much. There you go, March 7th. I'm definitely looking forward to him. I will say, dude, Wuthering Waves, I think, has been much better at their story and keeping their story regularly written. Like, with Genshin, I do feel like they had the beginning, but they didn't have the end. Right? They had the beginning, but they didn't have the end. And so, like, they do the first part, and then they stopped. Wuthering Waves, I feels like, knew what they wanted to do from the beginning. They had taken the time to plan the whole game. They knew what they had to go against, because, to be fair, and this is, we got to give this, Wuthering Waves had an advantage because they knew they had to compete with Genshin, so they had to do everything right, you know? They could not half-ass it, or else they were going to end up like Tower of Fantasy, which still pisses me off, because Tower of Fantasy could have been such a good game. Such a good game, and they fucked it. So I do think that they do storyline. I also like. I think exploration of Wuthering Waves is better too. You know, like I said, I love the gliding ability. I know you have some issues with the gliding ability, so I'll let you bring that up right now. That you like. Yeah. So, but I figure you're the big Wuthering Waves player, so I'm gonna kind of just let you do more of the talking this time.
Well, Wuthering Waves has been such a it's had so much help. I did terrible. So as you can see, I'm doing Wuthering Waves at the same time I will do this podcast. I can tell I am just sucking at it. Because I'm thinking about giving more attention to what Sega said. Wuthering Waves has brought itself to a point right now where the story is going good. We have reached the finale of second area, which we have Judy. We have spent the majority of one entire patrol in this area. And it's not to say it has not had its upside. Had its upside, but if you kind of, in a sense, try to make a little balance to try to have something for everybody, which I'm happy. But then you start when the controversies start coming up within the last little chapters, exactly when you have like different character stories or the community actually going up against actually see them going up against each other, but in one sense. Maybe the two factions they had Team Colo and then you had Team Group, and then that caused the entire thing. I did one interview with one more pastor, and we're talking about it, you can realize from the sense of this that a lot of people who are never really paid attention to the music the story that was through. And then you realize that it was because of the interactions within this story, it then affected his interactions and what he chose to do in later parts of the story. So you have to understand exactly how all, and then we'll say, oh, some shit have to go through all of that. But in a sense, if you don't see how a character is being built at the same time, that character building or to just see it, it's just a story character, just gets it. Is what we've had. Oh, I can just think more current ones that's going on there right now. We have where everyone's going that there's no combat event. Yes, there's no combat in the scene, but I'm guessing the reason why there have been a combat event is because, and this is my personal opinion, they put out so many events beforehand that not everyone, I'm guessing, like, they would stop an event if they know that a percentage of players have played it. And there was a time when I think it was UPS, one things, yes, yeah, UPS sent packages directly to you. And that's not what, oh, some people used to get this just weird ways, that's good. But other than that, you have, how to put it? The simplest way just to put it is just that they have all these events from beforehand. They can see that not much people have played the past events. So they're giving people enough time to either play the past events, plus do story, plus get extra things on. But you have those who have the 0.1%, the top percent. You have everything. You see 6 loaded characters, these are 5 new weapons. You have everything that the character needs. But the thing about it is that you can always improve. There's always something that you can do. But most people have bills that they just say work on time.
Well,
Sorry about
let's be clear about something, right? When it comes to like people, because I want to mention something. You talked about the 1% that literally max out everything, right?
that. Yes.
So let's be honest about something, man. Like, and this goes for all gacha games, all right? And this is something that if you're getting to a gacha game, I highly advise you never do, because this is just a bad thing to do. But when you go into a gacha game and decide that you're just going to try to max everything out, you literally do a disservice to yourself, because there is nothing you can do in that game anymore. You literally have ruined any form of progress in that game because you wanted to try to prove how good you were, right? And in all honesty, like there with gacha games, okay, there is an essence of skill that does go into some of the gacha games, right? Like when you're coming into, for example, Star Rail or Wuthering Waves or any of these games, there is a certain amount of ability you have to have in these games, right? You do have to know what you are doing, and if you don't know what you are doing, you're going to get completely destroyed. Like, you know, if you're if you're building a team, for example, with oh, these both suck. If you're building a team with, say, with Evernight and Finon, your team's going to completely get destroyed because that team's not a team you want to run. But a lot of people seem to forget that, you know, most of a gacha game is not about skill, but about how much you spend. So if you spend a lot of money and all of a sudden you're destroying everybody in a gacha game, or you're destroying all the content in a gacha game, all you've done is remove what would have made that game fun for you. You know? That's all you've done. Now the game is no longer fun, and there's no reason for you to even play the game anymore. Like, why play the game at that point? Just, you may as well put in a different game, because the game is no longer a game that you can succeed in and enjoy. Now it's a game where you have pretty much made everything about how much money you could spend. And for me, it's just more detrimental to a player to do that than it is, you know, I'm like that's worse than free to play. Like, free to play is bad because not bad for the player, but it's bad because you are limited on things you can do because you're free to play, right? You know, which does limit yourself as a free to play player. With, like, you get to, there's content where you're just like, I want to do this, but I can't do this because I'm free to play and I don't have the units for it, right? I'm sure you've come across that millions of times as a free to play player.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Always.
But what's worse than content you can't do because you don't have the current units? Content you have when you can't do any content because you've cleared everything and there's nothing to grow on because you spent that much money. I mean, now you literally paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to not play a game. All because you wanted to prove how good you were, but it had nothing to do with skill. You just paid a lot of money. That's not skill. That's not even a sign of wealth. That's a sign of irresponsibility. Because, like, if you have $1 million and you spend $10,000 on a freaking gacha game, that doesn't show you're rich. That just shows you're stupid. You know? And I will be perfectly honest. I have made that mistake in Dragon Ball Legends where I spent a lot of money trying to get a stupid character in Dragon Ball Legends. That wasn't a sign of how rich I was. That was a sign of how stupid I was. You know? You know, and Thank God I never hit the $10,000 mark or the $100,000 mark. There's a guy who spent $100,000 in Diablo Immortal. You know, so like if you're spending that much money in a gacha game, all you've done is you're not showing how, you know, how big your dick is, right? All you're doing is showing how irresponsible you are and why you should never play a gacha game. You know, and it's important to realize that. As for the, you know, and again, I think, you know, let me think. Give me a second. You know, a big mistake that Wuthering Waves made, right? I mean, not the Tower Fantasy made. And this is what you're kind of going to what you're saying here, right? Wuthering Waves made the big mistake of releasing too much content too soon. And what occurred of that was that players got burnt out. There was just too much to do. And when, you know, you have when the amount to do is more than you have time to do, it just makes you feel trapped and like you cannot do, you're just constantly going uphill, right? Because everybody's goal in the end is to complete all the content, right? That's your goal. And so I think that it's really important to balance the amount of content you have versus the time of your players. And I think Wuthering Waves, what they're doing is a good way. You need to make sure that your players' time is respected. And if you are not respecting your players' time, well, that's just not good for your game at all. So I do think that they've done pretty well. Like, I think on that aspect, it's really good, you know? As for the story, I mean, I think the story's going fine. I mean, I enjoy the story. I mean, I do skip a lot of the cutscenes that I just don't feel are that important. I do like in Wuthering Waves, by the way. When you skip a story, it gives you a little bit of a synopsis, right? Just like Star Rail does, right? Oh, this is bad. This is not good. This is not good at all. All right, we're gonna exit this. I got completely screwed over in that round. They stunned my main guy. What a bunch of assholes. Sorry, I'm doing Star Rail, and they stunned Adventuring, so he couldn't shield him. He got stunned right in the beginning. What kind of crap is that? Let me think. What's your favorite aspect of Wuthering Waves? Pirate. Pirate. I hope he didn't go AFK or fall asleep on this. Let me see. Is my shit still working? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I gotta go to his here machine. Testing. Can you hear me, Pirate? I don't know. Maybe he went AFK. Let's check his stream. See if he fell asleep on us. I'm gonna laugh if he fell asleep during stream. During doing a podcast. That'd be hilarious. Let's just check his stream. Dude, no way he fell asleep. No way he fell asleep. Did he actually fall asleep, man? That'd be hilarious. Alright, I'm gonna go just chill here while we wait for him to come back or wake up or whatever happened there. Which blessing override? Oh yeah, we gotta override these ones. I don't need that one. Yeah, this game does not want to give me the blessing I need, does it? Holy crud, man. How is it so bad? Wait, do I have 3? Okay, let's say we have 2 of those. Yeah, I could use the frick. Come on, give me the attack one. Okay, well, we don't need that one's fine. We don't need that one. Okay, you know what? I mean, honestly, actually, we don't need. We need one more of these. Okay. Actually, no, we want that one. That's a good one. Okay, let's go ahead and do. Okay, I guess we're fine. We don't really restore, so if we can actually get a better one of these, that'd be better. That works. I do not know if he fell asleep or not, so we're gonna wait and see. I'm gonna laugh if he fell asleep. Grab you, and then we want to definitely grab 15% damage reduction, because yeah, we're needing that. Are you back? I heard his mic get hit. Dude, did he fall asleep in the middle of a pot? Hello? Oh, that's actually good. That's a crit rate boost. Alright. Equations. Are you buzzing? Yo, pirate! Dude, I think he fell asleep. That's hilarious. Like, I think he actually fell asleep, dude. Like, how the heck does that happen? This guy might actually have narcolepsy. Oops, this way. There we go. There's number 3. Number 4. There's 1. Number 5. Ooh, that was close. Number 6. I do think he fell asleep, actually. I think he fell asleep in his chair, man. Alright, well, I'm going to go and keep on. If anyone joins in the podcast, he fell asleep. It's pretty funny, in my opinion. I think it's hilarious he fell asleep. That's pretty funny. Alright, yeah, we can. Okay, so let's see. We want to pick the day and night. There we go. Alright, respite. Those are not really good, actually. Do we have the dragon? Yeah, there we go. Let's take that one. Ooh, we do not have enough skill points, which sucks. Alright, we'll grab you. And that's what we get. Buff you up. These ones I don't really care about too much. Damage increase would be nice. Do you have a crit damage? Crit damage, there you go. Okay. Yo! Pirate!
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I
thought you fell asleep on me.
No, I tried to swallow a dog at the same time.
Oh, I'm like, I thought you were sleeping. Like, did he fall asleep on me?
No, I did not.
I'm like, holy cow! How did... You might need to be checked for narcolepsy.
I might have it out of.
Yeah, no, man. Like, okay. Because I'd asked. I said, what was your favorite? What's your favorite part of Wuthering Waves? Because I got 2 questions for you about Wuthering Waves.
My favorite part about it would be I love the combat. The combat was completely different from what I was accustomed to. And in a sense, you have like there are ways to fight. You can run into something like head and foot, or you can actually learn how things work within the system and use that. You can say that's all in the combat system that's nice and I love the story. The story, but it's just so intriguing, so interesting, as I said. You get that different kind of feeling from it.
I mean, for me, it's exploration. I feel like it's got really good exploration. Because as an open world game, for me, open world games, the number one thing is exploration, and I think it does that so well by the fact that it actually gives you the ability to move around quickly. You know, even from the beginning, you could run up the walls, right? You didn't have to climb up them super slowly, which was always one of the most annoying aspects of Genshin Impact, right? I mean, it was just you don't want to spend 20 minutes climbing up the stupid wall. So the ability to run up the wall was really nice. I mean, I'll be honest, if exploration in Genshin was as good as it is in Wuthering Waves, I think Mavuika would be a lot less impactful. I pushed the wrong button. So I really love for me, it's the exploration's a big one. Okay. So, is there anything else you want to say about Wuthering Waves, or should we jump into Star Rail?
Let's show the start of it.
Alright, so, first things first, let's talk about the Star Rail controversy with the Crisis Errors and Alicia and the people complaining because they don't know what a good game is.
But they don't know the story behind it.
You know, I actually showed my wife yesterday the side-by-side comparisons of with you and the last cutscene we got where it shows Alicia. It's a literally cut-by-cut replica, which is great. I mean, it feels like people don't seem to realize what a callback is, you know? Because it's a callback. It's not a rip-off. It's a callback. You can't rip off your own game unless they did everything the same. How far through Amphorius have you gotten, actually, at this point? Because I want to avoid spoilers if you're not there yet.
I don't even tell you know about it.
Okay. So this is going to be a heads up for anybody watching this on stream or on YouTube. If you've not completed the Amphorius storyline, there is going to be a bit of spoilers here because I'm going to talk about it. I know Pirate doesn't care because he's already done the storyline in Impact 3rd. So, so first of all, I got to say, it is by far the best storyline that Star Rail's ever done. It is, I would say, actually better than the Flame Chasers in Impact 3rd. It's like they took the Flame Chaser storyline in Impact 3rd and thought, how do we make this better? And that's what they did.
Because they really expanded on the kind of way they've been doing Flame Chasers.
I mean, they didn't just expand on it, they made us live through it, which is one thing we couldn't really do in Impact 3rd, right? Like, I'm going to open my window.
Oh, because they're already dead.
Impact 3rd, they're already dead. You're meeting them after the event. You're not taking part in the event. And in Star Rail, it's like, yeah, you know, this time you're going to take part in the event.
They're going to be there for it.
Yeah. For me, obviously, I know you know this, but my favorite gacha game is Star Rail. I think Star Rail is by far the best. I think Star Rail is the best gacha game out there, in my opinion. Now, again, I'm a big turn-based RPG person. I know a lot of people find turn-based RPGs boring, but for me, Wuthering Waves is really good, but Star Rail is way more playable than Wuthering Waves is. Wuthering Waves, let's be fair, you have to have a console or a PC. You cannot play the game on your phone. That game is not fun on your phone, you know? And if you're playing the game on, say, console or PC, it's an amazing game, right? But for me, with Wuthering Waves, the fact that I can play the game on my phone and it plays just fine, I love it to death for that reason because it means I actually can play the game anywhere I want. I can't do this with Wuthering Waves. I can't do it with Genshin. I can't do it with Impact 3rd. You know, I can only do it with Star Rail. And I mean, something, you know, when we talk about Wuthering Waves, right? Wuthering Waves, you still have Genshin, which is very similar to Wuthering Waves, right? They're very similar to each other. So if you're playing one, it's very much like, it isn't that different from playing the other, right? You can pick which one you prefer, and it's close enough. Just like Impact 3rd and Punishing Grey Raven, you know, they're different enough, but they're close enough where they're the same genre. There we go, right? There is no turn-based RPG mobile / gacha game in the current field of games now. And that is a major issue if you think about it, right? There's nothing there that you can play other than Star Rail. And I've even started playing, like, there's one coming out called, like, Etheria Restart, which I started playing, and it's a fun game, but I'm going to tell you, I can already feel the paywall when trying to upgrade my characters. Like, I can't upgrade my characters because there's certain content you can't do for higher levels of equipment and whatnot. And, Star Rail never had that. Star Rail never had, oh, you want to get this artifact that's best for your character. Oh, yeah, no, it's sorry, your level's too low to get it. You're just going to keep dying and dying and dying. You have to do it at a super high difficulty, right? It was very quick and easy to get to the level you needed to be. And in Star Rail, you can feel the difference with level, right? You feel the level differences, which a lot of turn-based gacha games don't have. A lot of turn-based gacha games, level 50 and level 80 feel the freaking same. And it's, oh no, you have to have this high-end equipment you got to grind. And you're like, what did the last 30 levels do? I do think, so right now we got the two controversies going on. They're all around Serene, a.k.a. Alicia. First one being is that people are saying that she's a unit for whales. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've already said this, but if you're played through the Amphorius storyline and you have not summoned for any of the 13, because right now there should be 13 different crisis errors, technically 12 that are out, the 13th we get for free, right? You have the main character, you have Dawn Hang, and you have March 7th, Agilia and Tribby, Kitty Cat Girl, Castoris, My Day, Anaxa, Hyacinth, or Hyacinth, Electra, Sadra. Is Serene the last one, or am I missing one? Oh, Finon, right? So there's technically 14 because you have Finon, right? If you've not summoned for any of these characters, I don't really think you get to complain about not having one of them. I mean, like, let's be fair. Your honest opinion, has there ever been a character in Star Rail that is released other than perhaps Acheron that is on par with any of the Crisis Era characters that you would say is that is better than the Crisis Era characters?
Ooh, that's the hard one.
I'll be honest, I can't speak for
I told you to do that.
I cannot speak for Agilia, Kitty Cat Girl, or Hyacinth since I do not have them, right? But I do have I have C6 Fox Girl, I have C6 Acheron, C6 Illuminous Lube, right? I have the C6 characters that were broken when they released, right? And I will say that none of them, like, if we take a look at, like, again, skipping Agilia, because, Agilia's the first that released. She's obviously going to be the worst, I think, in my opinion, right? She's the first that released. She's before they actually probably work out all of the characters. She's most likely going to be the worst. Just because that's how it always goes, right? That's normally how it works. It's not an attack on Agilia. It's just, even in Genshin and in Wuthering Waves, it's the same way, right? And when you take a look at that, Agilia is going to be the worst of the bunch. Tribby is really good support. I don't feel like she is on level of Ruan Mei when you take a look at the fact that you can now easily C6 Ruan Mei with the upgrade systems, right?
Yeah.
Because now you can actually get the constellations for Ruan Mei free to play, thanks to the new systems that were implemented, where if you pull a duplicate 5-star when you've already C6'd it, unlike Genshin where you can get level 100, and this one you get an item which allows you to pull to pick a constellation you want of a character you want, which is I think you and I can agree is better than level 100, right?
Yeah.
That's way better than level 100. So now, I mean, like, it is reasonable that people could actually go for a C6 Ruan Mei, and a C6 Ruan Mei is going to be better than a C1 Tribby, especially if you have a C6 Ruan Mei with her light cone and a Tribby with her light cone, right? But with that said, we're not going like that. That's only like a C6 situation, right? I mean, if we take a look at your typical, if we go past Agilia and Tribby, right? Let's pick up the big ones.
Yeah.
My Day. What male character pre My Day is as cool as My Day.
Oh, none.
I
They
mean,
have not been as good as he came out and he came out. He literally came out to be the king of the fair. He couldn't know.
I can only name 2 characters.
Ooh.
Blade. Blade is still a cool design. Blade's design is really cool. All right, like you can't deny Blade has a really badass design, and Don Hang and Lumus Lube. Those 2 designs are probably the only designs that can stand on par with My Day. I'm talking design only, right?
Mhm.
But those 2 came so long ago that you've had more than enough time to save up since pulling them, right?
Mhm.
And when you only have 2 male characters that are like really badass in the game, like, you know, it shouldn't have been an easy pull for My Day, right? Let's see. So you have My Day and Axis. I think if we take a look at just all 3 characters, My Day, Anaxis, and Phynon are all the same, right? There's not enough male
Mhm.
characters in the game that make good, well-designed male characters. Um, it makes well-designed male characters a must pull. I like Dr. Ratio, but let's be real. He's not, you know, he's not that really cool design, right? There's like, I don't look at Dr. Ratio's design and be like, oh man, this guy is so cool. I look at his design and I'm like, yeah, he's cool, but he's no Blade. He's no Blade. He's no Illuminus Dubé. Right? Illuminus Dubé is one of the coolest designed characters I think in game. So, but like these characters they're not that, right? They're not that level. So there's enough for me, in my opinion, there's enough space to go that you could actually easily pull for these characters and be like, yeah, okay, these characters are cool. I think male characters alone are worth pulling for the Crisis Errors, as there's just not been many of them. And I get, but maybe some characters, they don't. Maybe some people don't like male characters, like they just want female characters. Which I'm gonna be honest, man. I always thought that was weird. Why would you only want female characters? I always
That's
thought that was
true.
weird. Like, I mean, like
I think mostly because they have always taken away that's a gotcha game. So you are basically to
well,
majority of your players and you know exactly what your players want. So they cater to have female characters and male characters in that sense.
for me it feels
Hey.
more
Oh,
like wait, what? Oh, Topper.
No.
Yo.
This is like
Yeah, Neuro. This is our first ever podcast we started. We're starting a podcast every week, my Sunday, his Saturday. We're gonna start a podcast where we talk about the gotcha games. Good time for people to ask questions. Since I'm a whale, well, I'm as close to a whale as I get, and he is the free to play aspect. It gives kind of a dual aspect of these games come from both free play and whales, which I think is kind of nice to have. No, yeah, I mean,
But
like,
says that the answer to that is animated. It's right. It's correct.
that's but you think about that, man.
That is the point of it.
Think
That
about
is
it.
the point of it.
They're turning a game into cheap porn. If you want to watch anime titties, just go watch hentai. At least you get to
That's
see the
problem
titties.
about it is that all of that is getting sensitive to the point right now. So you realize that what games have done, it has some. And the thing is, most people have looked and said how Genshin is getting it, how Woodland Waves is doing it. I have seen some things, what they have done. I'm like, oh my god.
I'm gonna be honest, dude.
They literally got away with it. I'm like, they are just on the verge of being porn. I'm like, anymore? If they show anymore, that is literally going to do adultery. It can't do nothing else but adultery.
To be fair, okay. To be fair. To be fair, right?
Yes.
In that the censorship is only occurring outside of Asia, dude. In Asia, it is freaking everywhere. Like, I mean, like this type of shit. I actually probably have a bigger issue with it just because I have to constantly see that whenever I'm like get an ad on Google Play, it's just like hypersexual game, and I'm like, what the fuck point is this? Just go watch a porn. Like, it's always some big titty girl, and I'm just like, why do you care? Go watch porn. Go jack off. Like, come on, man. You know. But again, like, I mean, like, again, this comes down. Okay, I think it's totally fine. Like, I think it's healthy, personally, to go for two healthy characters. Like, go for a mix of characters, right? I think that's healthy, right? You go for a mix of characters that you want. If you're summoning only for girls because you only want girls, or you're summoning only for guys because you're sexist and think that only guys should be in action games, then I think you're stupid on both ends, personally. You know? Man, yeah, I agree, dude. Like the borderline fan service, I hate fan service for me personally. I think it's one of the most.
Borderline fan service has got that's very true, but I will think was is like the problem is when yes, then you already said the problem is when it does include that borderline fan service. They have learned in a sense how where that line can be as to how far they can go without actually going into the realm of having to change their rating. And they've realized that psychologically wise, they can get hold from a certain group of target people that they know they're trying to target. And you realize it's always you can be vulnerable ones that they always try to get, which tends to be the problem because that's what they go for, because that's because of subject that's all they get. So they gravitate towards they spend money on in order to see it. Because they say this is always the content. And I'm like, how do you justify a company doing something like this? Preying on a victim of society. Preying on them in such a way that it's like they're preying on their fantasies, the things that you know that could catch your eye. So basically you know that it's all the eye, it's also get with the eyes, that's it. And then you have where they're saying certain things to us, so they love them, they have this to them, they have to caring for them. Things that they know that they would normally never have, you give that to them. That's in a way that is, as we see, as hypersexualized as possible.
So,
and that's what they hold on to.
I think for the answer to this one, this is actually something that I can actually answer much better than I think anyone else because I can tell you how it is in Asia, right? And I'm gonna be honest, this
okay.
Western culture is
before you go ahead, I have to pick up Soup in the chat. Soup, good to see you, man. We hope to have you on this podcast at some point in time. I know you'd be really good. So I'll get in touch with you and we'll see what people are going to bring you up on it.
Yeah, I want to get people on here. I want to get more people on here. I think the more we get talking about it, the better. Because I personally feel like content creation for gacha games nowadays has either become drama farming or sucking the company's dick. You know, you're not actual fair legitness where it's like, okay, this is good, this is bad. Let's be fair, right? No, so okay, when we talk about the hypersexualization, right? This is something that's got to be remembered. Western and Asian culture is very different on this, right? So we're gonna get a little bit of a culture thing here. So what Asian culture is very big on all of the bad things that happen in the West don't happen in Asia. Now, this Asian culture includes India. So, Nero, this does include India. So, you can probably confirm this as well. Japan, China. I'm talking Asian in general, right? And the way they kind of confirm this ideology is they hide it, right? So, like, women's rights, for example, in the West, are much more respected than it is in the East. So, for example, things in America and Europe, in Canada, in I mean, maybe even, I don't know about the Caribbean, you can confirm this, are illegal there are not illegal here. So I'll use Japan, for example, right? Just recently, they raised the age of consent in Japan from 14 to 16. I mean, think about it. A 14-year-old, an adult could have sex with a 14-year-old, and that was legal. The rape laws in Japan are a joke. There is an actual real case where a guy, a grown man, physically held a 14-year-old girl, and the court ruled it not rape because she didn't try hard enough to get away. She was 14, man.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait. Say that again. The court didn't deem it because she didn't fight
The
hard enough
court
to
deemed
get
it
away.
not rape because they said she did not try physically hard enough to get away. Now, let's make it even harder for you, right? And I'm pretty sure, Nora, you can agree that in India, women's rights are pretty bad too. Because, I mean,
no,
you know, and this is not an attack on people, by the way, to be fair. This is not an attack on people. This is a failure of governments, all right? But this is kind of what determines things, right? And I don't really want to get too much into political aspects, but this is important. In Japan, so because I'll use Japan for example, right? A lot of women don't come forth with this because they know they're most likely not going to be believed. However, if a woman was to say, for example, carry mace, now she's committed a crime. You cannot carry mace. You cannot carry any tool to actually
protect yourself.
to protect yourself.
That's wild.
You cannot even, like, okay, let's just say a guy sees another guy committing these acts, right? And he physically prevents the guy and ties the guy up and waits for the police, right? What we call a citizen arrest. He would be illegal for tying the guy up.
What?
I mean, so the thing is that, right, like in the US, right, and I'm pretty sure Canada and Europe the same way, if the girl says no, or the girl is drunk, same goes for the guy, or the girl has special needs, the girl cannot, reasonably say yes or no, it is considered rape, right? Now, to be fair, the U.S. kind of goes to the opposite end, where you do something, they agree, and then at the end they disagree, so you have to, like, literally as a guy sign a contract. But I will be honest, I would prefer that, because at least that way it's just like, okay, we'll just protect yourself, try to protect yourself as much as a guy, that's a less likely problem. But when you consider that ideology, right, and how that is how, I mean, in the amount of, oh my god, dude, like, rape porn in Japan is freaking insane. Every single rape porn in Japan starts off with a girl being raped, and then it turns into, oh, she's in love with the person who did it. And I'm including, yes, 100%, where the girl, and you would only know this if you live in Japan, would be elementary school age. And I know this because I know the backpack. Elementary school kids use the same backpack, and only elementary school kids use this backpack. And there's so many of these where they're carrying this backpack, and it is legal to make in Japan. Now, the actress is over 18, but the scenario is CP, and that's legal. It's pretty fucked up, to be perfectly honest, pardon my language, but it is. Now, when you consider that part of the culture, right, and I guarantee you it's the same or worse in China, it's the same or worse in Korea, it's worse in southern Asian countries, right? When you consider that type of culture and that a lot of these gacha games are made in Asia, you can see why this kind of content is considered, why it's a normal thing to be made by devs. And to be fair, Genshin and Wuthering Waves are not bad about it at all. But if you see some of the commercials I've seen, holy cow, dude, they are bad. They are so bad. And I'm just like, this girl is literally wearing a bikini and has, first of all, boobs that are too big for an Asian. I live in Asia. Sorry. Asians don't have boobs that big usually. And when they are, it's always funny, by the way, because like when they're this big, they're like perfectly perky. If you've ever seen a girl with really big boobs, and any girl with really big boobs will tell you this, it's so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know a lot about India. That's why I said you could confirm it or not. But I do know if we go to, like, the Oriental part of Asia, very, very bad. Very bad. And so, like, I'm going to be honest. I'm glad I don't have a girl here because I'd probably kill the motherfucker who touched my girl. Like, to be perfectly honest. And, so, like, this is something that, yeah, it's pretty serious. I mean, and there's a really, if anyone's watching the stream and wants to learn up a really fucked up case, go look up the case of Junko from the 1980s in Saitama. Look at what happened to the guys who committed this crime. I mean, like, we're talking, this would be a death sentence or a life sentence in any country. And for some reason, they got, like, less than 10 years. But when you look at what the case is, it's one of the worst cases in the world. It's actually on YouTube by a lot of people. And it's really, really sad that this occurred. But when you look at that, it does kind of explain why we see so much sexuality in these games. And again, I don't feel Impact Third or Wuthering Waves, or I don't feel like Hoyoverse or Kuro Games actually does this. But I do think that if you're only summoning a game because you want a girl, I mean, you're only summoning girl characters in a game, I think you're just being weird. I mean, that's just a weird thing for me. It's like, why just only get girls? I mean, like, go for the guys, you know? I mean, like, get anyone you want. Like, I liked Akron, man. I didn't just not summon for Akron because she was a girl. I liked Luminous Dubé. So, you know, if you didn't summon for Anaxus, Maide, or Finon because you only want girl characters, then you're just fucked in the head. I'm sorry. If you didn't summon for them because you don't like them, okay. But if you didn't summon for them because you only wanted girl characters, then you're kind of fucked in the head, dude. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Go get a girl, man. Like, I mean, get these guys. They're cool. And Finon, by the way, if anyone does not have Finon, best DPS in game. Holy crap. Quick survey to anyone in chat. How many of y'all got Finon? Just let me know. How many in chat got Finon? If you play Star Rail. If you play Star Rail. If none of you play Star Rail, then what is wrong with you all? Go play Star Rail. Nero, we cannot be friends. Sorry. Nero, we...
Because I didn't say it because he said it. I thought Talker said funny. I don't believe it's considered everything else.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, like, man.
How you see some of the crazy shit?
You know, the reason we can make those jokes is because we live in a country where if that shit actually happens, people, you know, there are consequences, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why we can make those jokes, because when that shit happens, there's consequences, right? Nah, man, like, I'll be honest, I know a lot of people don't play... I know a lot of people don't play Star Rail, to be fair. I grew up on turn-based RPGs, right? So...
Yeah. I think that's the thing. A lot of them who play it came from the Genshin era.
Or even Impact 3. Well, even Impact 3, too.
These RPGs and how they difficult it. Some of them, when they realize that they can't just mash keys and go to realize, it's like, yeah.
Well,
this thing has stuff in it that does not meet up to us at all.
Well,
so just quit it.
It's also going to come from their generation, whatever generation you come up growing, right? I was born in the 80s. I grew up during the Final Fantasy hype, right? During Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
When 7, 8, and 9 came out, if you were not old enough when 7, 8, and 9 came out, you are not going to understand turn-based RPGs.
Because turn-based RPGs, I think, evolved from that.
Yeah, I mean,
then it evolved. Because there was no turn-based, and then it went to the active time-based turn RPGs. Everything's happening at the same point. You stop being, in a sense, when you stop being exposed when you get selection. And then you get active time, but when everything is happening, so you have to be on, involved, and moving fast.
And I mean, like, well, with a turn-based RPG, right? You have to have a good storyline, right? This is why, if you look at turn-based RPGs, so few exist, realistically, compared to other games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy is by far the biggest, followed by Dragon Quest, right? Now, if you take a look at Final Fantasy 1 through 9, after 9 you get to 10, that's when they really started to change the systems. And then, of course, you have Final Fantasy... I gotta skip 11 because that's an MMO. 12 and 13, which is really not turn-based anymore. I mean, I personally am not... The stories were great, but I like them, but I don't like them as much as I like the originals. Like, for me, Final Fantasy 4 is amazing. If you've never played Final Fantasy 6, guys, that is one of the must-play games out there. Final Fantasy 6 is such an amazing game that if you've never played Final Fantasy 6, you have to go and play this game because for being Super Nintendo, this game is... it's incredible. Like, it is known as one of the best turn-based ever. But, a second. When we get to our turn-based games, right? PlayStation was the god age of turn-based RPGs. If you were not around during the PlayStation 1 era, you probably will never understand the true feeling behind turn-based RPGs. PlayStation 1 had the best turn-based RPGs ever. You had Xenogears, Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9, the remakes of Final Fantasy 6, and Final Fantasy 4 and Final Fantasy 5. You had Chrono Cross remade. Chrono Cross. You had Chrono Trigger remake. Legend of Dragoon. I mean, you had these games are. I mean, like, dude, they're so good. Like Legend of Dragoon. I don't know why Sony never remade it with updated graphics, because they just released that game on the PlayStation Store, and that game sells. Like but if you did not grow up during this time age, right? If you grew up during like Minecraft or during the age of more action-oriented games, then yeah, it's really hard to understand why anyone would play these games. For me personally, I started playing mobile games maybe 14 years ago, and I waited, I think, 12. I waited that 14 years. Oh shit. To get an actual mobile game that was a turn-based RPG that was actually good. Like it was a long time I had to wait for that, because all you ever got was the crappy ones. You know, and they were bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, Final Fantasy mobile games are absolute. It is one of the saddest things to see Final Fantasy release, because of the fact that I know how good it could have been, and the fact that they obviously just did a cheap cash grab by using their name was depressing for me. So I do get why people don't play Star Rail, right? I get that it's really hard to get into a turn-based RPG if you did not grow up in that era. Final Fantasy VII is really good. But I like I'll be honest, I still like the original more than the remake. I don't like the remake that much. I think it's okay, but I don't like... I wanted original turn-based. I love turn-based. I love to be able to relax and enjoy the story, right?
I hope it's sad they would go back to that kind of like, oh, so we're gonna go back, we just run around and then just see what, but not that. It was unscripted sense, and I think Henry runs into, like, we're not playing Pokemon.
I mean, it's just kind of sad, because we're also seeing, you know what other game is kind of going the way of the dodo? The turn-based strategy games like Fire Emblem. You know, I mean, like, again, that's another one where you just didn't see many of them. But Fire Emblem was good. You had, if you've ever played Sega CD, anyone who grew up with Sega CD knows a Dark Wizard. Oh, Dark Wizard was so good.
I grew up with Sega CD, like, about how to be.
Dude, Dark Wizard, man, is so cool. It's like Fire Emblem meets Dungeons and Dragons. It's so cool. And you have 4 different characters you can pick from. 2 good characters, and you can play 2 villains. But yeah, it's really, dude, it's a really fun game. I'm not gonna lie. Nowadays it would be hard to get through with all the upgrades we have, but like, dude, I might have to actually go through there and play that game again sometime. It is, and it's hard. Like, your character dies. When a character dies, they're dead. But unlike Fire Emblem, where you actually have characters that have personalities, they're all just soldiers, right? So your main character summons a soldier, right? And you lose the game if your main character dies or if they get to your castle, right? That's how you lose the game. It's really cool. I like it. But yeah, so back to Star Rail, right? I mean, like, we went over the male characters. Let's talk about the female characters. Okay, you have Agilia, Tribi. Okay, I get not summoning for them. They're the first of their type. I wasn't that... I personally did not find Agilia all that attractive to go for. I just didn't care for her personality that much. Tribi, you know my feeling on chibi characters, right? I'm not a chibi guy. I don't like chibi characters. That's why it's such an amazing thing that I actually pulled for Nahida, right? And then actually C6 Nahida. Because it's just like, well, it's Nahida. I have to C6 Nahida. It's Nahida. When it comes to... God, these suck. So I can understand not playing for Tribi. But...
How would you call her a chicken?
She's a chicken!
Yeah.
Goddamn chickens. I will say that Castris... I don't get why people would not pull for Castris. Like, Castris, of all characters, why would you skip Castris? That one, to me, does not make sense of why anybody...
I think that's an everybody. So,
Yeah, like Castris is a must pull. Like Castris is a must pull. If you skipped Castris, then that's on you. I mean, that's you being dumb. Like, I'm sorry. That's like, it's Castris. It's Castris. How do you not pull Castris? And then of course you know that you. Okay, so let's talk about the two hypest characters, right? Castris. Oh, by the way, Nero, just so you know, Don Hang will be free. The newest Don Hang's free. Between Castris and between Finon, if you did not pull either of those two characters, I don't know what to say to you at that point. Like, those are the two biggest characters that you could have pulled, and they're the two hypest characters in game. So I don't understand why people would not pull for those two characters. I can understand why you might skip My Day or like my Day, or you might have. To be fair, Sipaz, I'm talking about people who play the game regularly, right? Oh, I got an ad start. I got an ad start in 30 seconds, guys. So if you're on my channel, you might get that ad for a bit. Yes, the new Don Hang is coming free in about 2 weeks. So I would suggest, if you have the game on your whatever, get the new Don Hang. Just because, I mean, he's free. Log in, get him, and then, you know, do whatever afterwards. But there's no reason not to grab the new Don Hang. You know, get a free character when they're free, right? Do we get the free ones again here? Oh, we do. We do get free ones every time I refresh this. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I do think, like, if you play the game regularly, right? I'm not talking about people who don't, like, haven't logged into the game for a while or aren't playing the game. I'm talking about people who are playing the game regularly. If you play the game regularly, but then you're going to complain that you don't have the, you don't, like, you don't have any crisis errors, and that you need to, and that's the new Siren is a whale character because you have to have the crisis errors. I just got to look at you and ask what world you're living in, right? Like, you have, number one, the MC, and you got Don Hang. There's two characters right off the bat. And if you did not pull any other character, like, why would you skip Castris? Why would you skip Finon if you're playing the game regularly? I mean, if you got Cypher, I mean, Cypher makes it, like, Cypher's cool, but then again, you've got Cypher, right? That means you have 4 characters, right? All you need is one character that you summon for, and then you have a group for Alicia. It's, and if anyone here, like, by the way, if you guys have not taken a look at Alicia, at the new Syrian or Alicia, I call her Alicia because she's Alicia. If you've not taken a look at her, she pretty much turns your C6 your C1 characters into C6. Like, with Finon specifically, right? With Finon, she allows Finon to stay in God mode. Is this the... Nope. Okay, I gotta kill this one. If you've actually, have Finon, what she does with Finon is she allows Finon to stay in God mode indefinitely as long as his HP is there. But then you gotta remember, we get Don Hang for free, which is gonna be a God tier shielder who can continue to shield Don Hang while he is in dragon form, while he's in his God form. So you've got an infinite shielder, and then you've got Alicia, who is going to allow him to keep his turns infinitely, right? You just gotta not lose all your HP, which is normal, and increases damage output. Like, Alicia turns Finon into a C6 character. If you have Alicia with Castris, right? She's gonna turn Castris into a crazy damage character because now Castris can build up the ultimate form for 200, increasing overall damage. Like, Serena is just going to make your free-to-play account a God account. That's all it does. Like, so I don't understand why people are trying to claim that she is a whale character when it's just like, she literally makes your account a pay-to-win account. So I don't get... I will never understand that complaint. I do think it's funny how people are talking about how they're not going to summon for Alicia. because it's like I don't know why. I mean, like I'm curious. That's what I don't get. Like I'm not gonna summon for Alicia because I'll be honest. I don't watch it because the person who's I saw that on is an AI account, and I just don't watch AI accounts on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I got my lunch. Is there a straw in here? Did they not give me a straw? Those motherfuckers. God, Japanese Burger King sucks. Where's my straw at? Alright. By the way, I was going to tell you, Pirate. By the way, Nero, I would highly suggest against Resident Evil 6, man. Holy crap. I tried to play that game. That game is awful. And I love that game when it came out. It is awful. Sorry, I have to take a quick break. Gotta take care of some things for lunch. Alright, you still there? I do know Pirate play. Yeah, Pirate plays Star Rail. He plays Impact 3rd. He plays Genshin. He plays Wuthering Waves. Now he's probably. I know he's been having some. I don't think he's asleep, man. He's not that bad yet. Yeah. I do love the Need for Speed. Need for Speed Most Wanted's really fun, especially if you get a steering wheel for it, man. I got a steering wheel for mine. That game's fun. If you're going to, okay, my personal. I got one for you, Nero. If you want to upload a Resident Evil game, just do Sweet Home, man. That game is so much fun. It's on Nintendo. It's hard, but it's fun. It's like the first ever survival horror or turn-based RPG. It's a lot of fun. And it is very puzzle-driven. That's what I would suggest. If you want to play a more modern game, I would go just like, dude, just do the remake of Resident Evil 1. That's a good one. Or Resident Evil 4, dude. Resident Evil 4 is always a good one to go on. 6? Man, with 6, the issue with 6 is that the issue with 6 is the fact that you can get hit during cutscenes, which to me never made sense. Why I'm getting hit during a cutscene, you know? That's why I've always hated. Like, I tried to go back to and play 6 because I always liked 6 when I was young, you know, when it first came out. But I hate to say, 5 is better than 6. I actually played 5, enjoyed 5, went to go play 6. Not only was it almost impossible to even get started, you can't skip the cutscenes, and they have the dumbest characters ever in 6. I mean, like, Leon's just dumb in 6, man. Holy crap. The fact that he can't figure crap out is ridiculous. Pirate, welcome back, man. I'm gonna start eating my lunch, guys. Heads up, I'm gonna be eating lunch here. Pirate, you still there? I'm gonna pull my lunch. I'll get my lunch ready. Alright, there we go. Sorry about that. I'm right back. Just getting my lunch ready. I haven't eaten anything else. I will say, by the way, if you have Casterus, man, you got Casterus, March Evernight or March 7th is absolutely amazing for this team. Absolutely love her. Bless me, Migros. Bless me. Hey, I win. Yay, I win. What is this one? Do I get another one? I do get another. Ooh, a gold. Ah, that feels good like that. Ooh, hunt. I'll take the hunt. We need the hunt. Okay. What are you gonna give me? By the way, I love the simulated universe. If you guys have never done the simulated universe, it is so much fun. I really like it. Here we go. What do we got? Ooh. We are winning. Oh God, we're winning. Holy crap. Okay, here's a question. We're at a higher level, so let's take the damage mitigation because that's going to be really useful. And then this one, what's this one giving us? Obtain the one reward. I don't give a crap about doing the fight. Okay. Wealth. Perfect. Increase final damage dealt. But yeah, I'll be honest, man. Like, I don't get why people would not summon for. Like, again, this just goes if you play the game regularly, right? If you're playing Star Rail regularly, why you wouldn't have summoned for any of the Crisis Airs. I mean, you gotta talk about that. That's like a full year of not summoning. And I'll never get players who play that game like that, you know? That son of a bitch. Sorry. Currently eating. Ugh. There we go. Conversion. Okay. There we go. Last conversion we need. Alrighty. Here we go. That's where that took so long to kill. Okay. Let our dragon kill. Alright. Bring our March. Summon our Eevee. Not there. You okay, man?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, so something else that's going on. Apparently, people are already starting to, like, you know, talk about the next area we go to in Star Rail. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't get why you play these games if you're always looking months ahead of the event, right? Like, because, like, that next area is not at least for another 4 to 6 months. How are you going to how do you enjoy this game if you're always looking 4 to 6 months in advance, right? Especially when we're not talking about, like,
how do you feel about it?
I mean, well, the fact of the matter is, I mean, you can't enjoy a game if you're like, well, I'm not going to summon for this character because the next character is going to be more broken. Dude, the next character is always going to be more broken. That's what that does.
True. Sure.
Now, I do think it's different.
Shut up. This in a nice weekly.
I do think it's different if we're, like, in the area and you've already seen the character. So, for example, if you saw Finon and you're like, okay, I'm saving for Finon, right? Or you saw Castris and you're like, okay, I'm saving for Castris. Okay, makes sense, right? You're saving for that, right? But be like, oh, I heard a leak that we're gonna get a new Sparkle, so I'm gonna save for her. Like, first of all, like, I hate the spreading of unconfirmed leaks. I think if it's been confirmed, it's fine, right? Especially in, like, okay, it's like, for example, anybody here use Honey Hunter? That site? I like that site because they don't release things to it. They only release information one patch ahead, right? Like, to be honest, it should be released. So you can actually take a look at the next patch and decide, okay, do I want this character in the next patch, right? You're not actually looking 3-4 patches ahead. And the biggest issue, right, when people do that, is that when the character gets nerfed or buffed or whatever, like if the person has already spent their wishes on another character because, oh, this character's not that good, right? And then the character gets buffed before they're released, then they complain about the company like it's the company's fault, right? Like the company screwed them over, even though the company did not release the leaks. I mean, we saw this happen in Genshin, remember? Back with Zhongli, right?
Oh yeah.
Like everyone talked about how bad he was and he was a freaking god. And then they buffed him and then everyone was complaining about that, how it wasn't fair. And it's like, look, I mean, like, it's not their fault you weren't paying attention to leaks. I mean, you were watching leaks. You know, and like, again, I do feel like that is the Genshin player base of this game, not the Impact Third player base. Because I have never seen leaks in Impact Third that were past the next patch, right? Every time I've seen leaks in Impact Third, it's always the next patch, not 3 patches in the future. I mean, have you ever seen, like, in Impact Third, have you ever seen leaks that were, like, 3 patches in advance? Or has it always been the next patch for you, too? In Impact...
So,
like, I mean, for me personally, I hate that, and then people are already complaining about crap like... I know people are talking about how they're going to skip Serene because they're going to summon for Sparkle in, like, the next area, and it's like... Okay, well, so you're like... You know when Sparkle comes out, there's going to be a better character, right? Like, that's just how it happens. Especially if Sparkle's one of the first to come out, you know? Have you looked at Serene's kit yet, by the way? The nice thing about Serene's... For anyone who's playing Star Rail, the nice thing about Serene's kit is that she is God tier at C0. C6 and I think C2 do kind of give a little bit more of a damage boost, but it's nothing like, for example, Sundays. Sunday C6 is like a must. Sunday C6 is just C0 Sunday, C0 Sunday and C6 Sunday are 2 different characters, right? But for Serene, C6 does not look as game changing as C6 Sunday does. She looks really good at C0, whereas C0 Serene still looks like, you know, she still looks like a triple S character. You know,
because she is.
I think if you get C6 of her, maybe you can go like to say triple S plus, but or you can even just say Z tier, right? If you want to go up there. But like when you're taking a look at, for example, Sunday, right? Sunday I think is an S character, but when you have him at C6, he's freaking triple S. His C6 is so broken, it's not even funny. I mean, like pretty much any crit rate above crit damage now becomes crit damage. So, you know, that's a really broken thing there. So I am glad to see that she's not that broken at C6. I really would have hated that, honestly, because of the fact that it just means people have to summon for her C6. And I would rather... Yeah. I prefer a character not feel like you have to have their C6, right? Alright. Ooh, this looks pretty nice. Okay. What we got here? Destroy all curious. Hell yeah, we want to do that. What are these stupid broken traps?
Holy I was wondering about if we do put a plug in this, because even though we wouldn't just want to, I could typically iceberg, we have gone for about how long? Maybe about 2.5 hours at least.
Yeah.
So this is a conversation that is just gonna keep on going. So you know, you can get another conversation, Suko can get another conversation, Tom can get another conversation, just as a DM, talk. Try to work it out, bring everybody in, so we can have like really good thoughtful discussion exactly in positions of where we are in the game itself. So, well, I think you can as well see where the game is going, or if actually loads. If what's really happening in game currently, if that is a sense of where sleep should be awakening. It's not terrible, it's very better. All everything. So I would like that. So you can take the time, come and get a podcast, like all of you who turned up. You just pass it through, but then realize it's happened. But just as Steve said, we're gonna try to do this at least every week. Um, so you have a chance to always come in, ask questions, join the conversation. Maybe a guest on the show, on the podcast, that's it. And let's have a really good conversation about what conscious art exactly. See that it's not just how to put it. We're not just on those only. Is that you have those who can play for the excitement of the conscious itself. Just because it's got yeah, but still the excitement that you get with doing after everything else that you can get from. So if you have any closing remarks, Stephen.
So I'm gonna say, like, for anyone, like, this is gonna be a good opportunity as well, because I want to also take this time to answer questions for maybe new players or people who are looking to get into gacha games. A big thing about if you guys watch content creators for gacha games, I think you've all it's pretty obvious that they don't usually say much different. They almost always say the same thing, and I kind of want to make this one different. So, like, again, we have a experience as a free to play player. We have experience as a whale. I get questions from some people about these games, so I think it's a good time to, like, if you have any games, go ahead and ask those questions about the games, things that you might want to actually learn about, and we'll do our best to answer those questions. And again, like, I want to keep this just again as drama free as possible. Like, I do want to avoid like game drama. I think is fine, but I do want to avoid like drama with other players, because I mean, like, other content creators, mostly just because I don't really care what they think at this point. Like, I've already lost faith in a lot of them. I also want to kind of like put up builds and whatnot, like discuss builds or different type of fun team builds you can run. If you haven't played Star Rail, I'm going to be doing a lot of Star Rail talk around here, so it is something where I'll probably be giving a lot of Star Rail builds or things that are fun to do. Maybe not optimal, but fun. I know Pirate will probably do a lot of things with Weathering Waves. Genshin will, in my opinion, will always get respect, because Genshin is the first of what we can consider a gacha game nowadays, and I do think Genshin deserves respect for that. To be perfectly honest, I mean, you got to respect the Genshin for that. That was they started the games with how they did. But yeah, that's gonna be about it. And then it is gonna be usually my plan is to start usually I'll give my Japanese time, then I'll Pirate give his time. But for Japanese time, it would be around 10 a.m. every Sunday morning. And then what time was that for you when we started first? When I got up and we started talking?
That would be something like around 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so 9 p.m. Saturday time.
9 p.m. I won't say Atlantic. Because we go more close to the EST than it is.
Okay. So yeah, if you're interested in joining the conversation, I would love to have more people join the conversation. I also would love to invite people, like, if you're a content creator yourself, if you're either usually in Pirate Stream or my stream, and you wanna, would like to join, when we do these discussions, hit us up. I mean, I'm more than willing to do it. We want to kind of try and get things running first and get our stuff, get this established. But I would also like to, hopefully in the future, have daily, like have a weekly guest, somebody else who plays the game who might be able to give their own opinion. I think it's important to share opinions in this game. And so that's kind of my goal here. I really like these games. I think they're a lot of fun. I know that a lot of people, struggling with different games they want to play, but I think, and to be honest, I found a lot of games have now become mostly just a place for kind of like drama, and people have lost the enjoyment of just playing games. So if you're interested in joining a future chat, hit up Pirate, or you can hit myself. I think most of you are in his Discord.
Our links will be in the description below.
Yeah, I'll put my links in the description. I'll also post my Discord group down there if you want to join the Discord groups. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna finish off this run, and then I'm probably gonna go off. I'm right at the end of it, and I was gonna tell you one thing, Pirate, before, but I keep forgetting to tell you this. If you get a chance, hop over to my stream. I want to show you what this team does in the simulated universe. This team is so much fun, dude. I'm using this is the level 5 difficulty, mostly because level 7 takes forever. This is insane damage we're gonna from this team here. We should. I think all of our things are these all maxed? Let me double check here. Yeah, okay. So we're all maxed out here. This new team for casters is so much fun. So I'm gonna start off with popping this here. So we're fighting obviously the caster's dragon. This is, by the way, for anyone curious, this is a C6 Casterus and a C0 Evernight. Look how much damage that does. 7 million. That was 7 million damage.
Doing the damage.
Just with her freaking scythe attack. There's 5 million damage, almost 6 million. How much does this one do?
Oh, for my head,
11 million. Let's do a dragon slap here.
I'm gonna do my close off here and that one.
I'll probably go off after this because I want to go eat lunch. I'm hungry still. But we're right at the boss, and I want to beat this boss. Pop our buff. All right, here we go. March 7th. Now we're getting more. We have more damage. 4.3 mil. Keep our shields up. Proc. Triby's follow-up attack. Like, they're not doing much damage. Okay. So let's see how much damage this dragon does. Oh, actually, let's take a look here real quick. Dragon stats. Okay, 146% crit rate, meaning he's going to crit. 602% crit damage. Our max HP is at 34,000 HP. Hers is at 15,000. So let's see how much this does here. 4 million, 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, 8 million, 9 million, 10 million, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 million here, and this should hit 30, almost 30 million. Alright. Yay! We're back again.
Oh, wow.
I have the new set on Adventuring, so now everyone gets crit damage boost because he has shields on them. Break the dragon. Okay, we got the brain, the mastery one where you get the ultimate, double ultimate. Alright, here we go, here we go. Stage 3. Dude, look, it already. I have one of the builds, so whenever he attacks me, he takes 50. Like, he lost 50% of his damage because he just got hit with like the blazer attack. 16 million from that. All right, we're gonna finish here. Just finish this fight off. 10. Like, dude, that's the level 5 difficulty, by the way. I'll show you what difficult that was in a second here. We'll get out of this. Ah, we're almost done. Let's see, where is it at? I wish you could run one of these with the saved content because like the basic ones are too easy that it's not that fun. It's just like I put on auto and just chill. So the difficulty I just ran on this fight, by the way, was go to practice mode. Was level 5. That was level 5 difficulty, man. That's like their damage is decreased. No, it was level 5, right? So they have okay, so they have 20% less damage. They get this 80%. Then they get attack of 172% attack, 1,520% max HP.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty heavy, man. It's pretty heavy. That's a lot of fun. I love that team. That team's a lot of fun. Finon does it no problem, but yeah, I want to try new teams other than Finon. Just because I always play Finon. Alright, guys. I'm pretty sure Pirate's going to head off. I'm going to head off too. Again, I will only be live on Sundays, my time. But starting in March, or in April, I will be live more often during the mornings during the week as well. I'll catch everybody later. It was great seeing everybody here. Thanks for the interaction in chats. It actually makes this much more enjoyable to actually do. It's really not fun to talk into the void. So, I'll see you guys all next week. And Pirate, I'll see you next week, man. You have a good night.
At least you see me before.
Oh yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you all the time, man.
I'll be making 1 week day.
I know, dude. Anytime something happens, I have to contact you. Did you hear what this idiot said this time? My God, they're bitching about. How do you bitch about my queen? Look, I don't like waifus, but come on, you don't bitch about. You don't bitch about Ellie. You don't bitch about Ellie.
Oh,
you don't bitch about her sentience. You don't bitch about Fu Hua. Okay, they are the queens. All right. All right, I'll see y'all later.